Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Cancer, January 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. And if you'd be interested in having a clairvoyant reading with me from anywhere in the world, just check out the information that's in the description. And in addition, if you would like to see your 2023 annual forecast, you can find that on the playlist in my channel. It's very sensibly and easily marked. You won't be able to miss it. But now we're going to do your monthly reading, and we're going to take 5 cards. By the way, the subscribers know that there are no video advertisements breaking into the content here, so you get to enjoy the experience in full without interruption. Now, let's see what there is for you, my dear Cancer, in this month of January 2023. Let's go in here, dig into the middle somewhere. What's this? The 7 of Gourds. Interesting faces of people in there. We'll get to see what they have to say in just a second. There is the 9 of Gourds. Here is the 2 of Blades. Shall we dig right in here somewhere and see what they might be? See what there is here, hey? There's a couple. Well, let's take this first one, whatever that happens to be. That is justice. And don't we always want to have justice in our lives? Justice, indeed. So difficult to obtain and so fleeting in nature. It's so fulfilling when drunk. Now, finally, here is one for you, and it is this, the young coin. Interesting. Right, well, why don't you come, as is our practice. Sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Now, I always like to deal with the major arcana first, and so I shall in this case, which is that of justice. And see what this has to say to us here. Well, here justice stands, really holding, would you say, or wearing her scales in balance, weighing situations and making fair decisions. It seems that the scales are part of her actual being. Justice represents keeping your inner balance centered as you live your life in the chaos of the world. Justice encourages you to look deep inside yourself and identify any contradictions that might be throwing you off center. Now, balancing your intuitive self and spiritual values with your conscious mind and moral values brings inner strength and clarity to make just decisions. Now, Justice's number is 11, which is the number of karmic law and the number of vision, new consciousness, balance, heightened awareness, intuition, and insight. Now, justice works with all matters of earthly law, cosmic law, and karmic law. She integrates and balances these laws within her when decisions need to be made. Now, with this energy here, you begin to take responsibility for your choices and actions, weighing and measuring your next move. You realize that the steps you take will not only impact you, but also impact other people as well. Justice helps you to live your life in balance without the inner tension of opposition. Now, when unsettling situations in life arise, as they do, don't they, all the time, they can leave you hanging with no solution or with the inability to make your mind up. Your clarity and direction becomes foggy, signaling a time to just to still yourself, to go within and listen. The mind and heart will fight with each other as long as you feed that fire. Now, justice represents the laws of nature, moral law, legal law, and the laws of the universe. And she reminds you that there is divine justice. Her purpose is to be fair and impartial, while seeking truth and answers to a decision. She encourages you to weigh matters carefully before making important choices that will affect you. And she stands strong with intention, always taking the righteous path. Choose what you know is right, rather than what you want to be right. Do and be the best that you can. Be a vessel for the divine light to shine through with the understanding of cosmic justice, rather than ego justice. Justice can, I've seen, bring forward legal matters and financial contracts, so just make sure that everything's properly checked out. Get an attorney or a professional contract manager to check them out. But she does also bring into your life the gifts of fairness, harmony, truth, honesty, and balance. I think there is a decision going to be made by you. Then we go, well, what I feel like doing is going to this card here, which is giving you respite from this. So let's see what it's doing first, and then we can see what it is that you're getting relief from. Because I do get this feeling here where this shaman brings you relief. You can see him here standing under the waning moon, the shaman. The magician, not in the tarot sense, but as someone who can manipulate the spiritual forces and nature itself. Look, astrologically, this is the moon ruling the first decan of Libra, 23rd of September to about the 2nd of October. Look, this is a really great combination for you. Did you know that your moon sign describes your instinctive or emotional energies? Now, with the moon in the sign of Libra, as it is here, you're likely to have a deep need for peace and harmony in your life. Now, Libra, as we saw with the Justice card earlier, is symbolized by the scales. And this balance relates to any area of your life requiring sorting out, and that includes your personal environment, your work, relationship with others. I think that the purpose of this card is really about neutrality, being neither good nor bad. It's a balance. But with the suit of air and swords, it comes from the turmoil between the suits of fire and water. But there is here, I think, inner peace. There is the power to make decisions. There is a mental stability now, after what could have been some trying time here. And and you've made a decision regarding a situation or relationship which brings you emotional and psychological peace. You see, with this energy here, you start to search for your true self and personal power. The heart and your mind are trying to find a peaceful balance. Things felt in the heart don't always match up with your mind's vision. When the mind and heart are torn, well, then there is no peace. The physical self goes through the daily motions of life unsettled. Inner conflict grows, and there is a great need to still the body and quiet the mind and allow the intuitive feelings of the heart to speak its truth over the noise of the righteous mind. Wisdom of the heart and clarity of the mind need to and will merge equally to bring the right choice or action to move you forward in your journey. You see, the point here is about learning how to see and judge with the mind while listening to your heart's wisdom. And the gift of this card is knowing and speaking your truth from a place of balance and power. I think it could have been that you went through a process of having a difficult time making your mind up about something or making a choice. I don't think it's anything which is dramatic, but it does sit in the back, or did sit in the background. And it surfaces every now and again, but you deal with it. It might be that you've dealt with the pros and cons of a situation. You might have until now lacked the information that you needed to make the right decision. But when you get it, it's like the light goes on and you can see the situation for what it is, and you're in a much better position to make the decision that's right for you. So what areas of your life are especially important to you? You can now come calmly to the necessary decisions. Say this, though, because it is true for you that this month, that a deep peace fills my heart. Now, the question is, what is it that you've made your mind up about, and how have you pressed on? And I think it's got something to do with this, you know. This is the Seven of Gourds, so-called, which are just vessels or receptacles for holding a liquid, particularly water. Now, what have we got here? We see like a real genuine cascade, really, of, what are these, I used to know what the name for these things was, where you had like a vase or a bottle that was, that had a wooden carved figurehead stopper put into it. Oh, I think it's calabash. So I think what we have here is, and look the dictionary up to make sure that I'm not sending you wrong, but I think what we have here is a splash of brightly of calabashes with brightly coloured figureheads as the stoppers on them. Now, I recall that calabash and horn medicine containers in Africa traditionally have wooden carved figurehead stoppers to increase the potency of the substance that's within them. Now, they can represent ancestors or deities, which you then use to bring down the ancestor or deity to help you with a specific task. Now here we have 7 heads, each with its own energy and personality. Now, I suppose you might say, what is the intent and the charge over the substance that's within the calabash? Is it something that is meant to bring healing and abundance? Or is it something which is to bring erotic pleasure? Or is it something deliciously toxic but ultimately poisonous? These are the questions that may arise when faced with the confusion and illusion that this energy can bring with it. You see, the issue is a couple of things. First of all, with this number 7 here, I have a mystical association with the planet of Venus, and with the astrology of the card, I have Venus ruling the 3rd decan of Scorpio. Now, Venus, as you know, is the planet of love and relationship, of beauty and business, and Scorpio is about intensity. It's about in-depth transformation, and also about exploration of the self and others. But the thing is here is that because we have a double dose of Venus, we have Venus for me in the numerology, and we have Venus in the astrology. Venus doesn't have any brakes applied, and it just piles into Scorpio. The problem is that Venus is in detriment in Scorpio, and so it can't express its sensitivity and emotions properly. Instead, they can get channeled into negative addictions or intense activities, which, let's be fair, is the darker side of Scorpio. Now, it could imply that you may indulge in excess reactive behavior due to something that has affected you deeply and changed you, or changed you in a way which throws up its own set of problems, if you know what I mean. The thing is with this energy, though, is that it's asking you to do some deep soul work, bringing balance to your inner and outer values, and you should become aware of your conditioning patterns, in your subconscious, that maybe had led you to the present situation that you've now got some peace and made some decisions in relation to. I think that what it's saying also is that you could find that you have released unsupportive beliefs and patterns, or reevaluated your belief, rediscovered your soul purpose, or worked out that person that you have been with is not really right for you. You have the ability to change conditions in your life by uniting with the higher vibrations of the light. The gift of this energy is the focus to bring your creative imagination into reality by having clarity of your true self and what you're really meant to do when you're here. Now, I guess there's many directions and choices that could distract you from your true purpose, leading you off course. That happens to everybody. And they can steer you into unrealistic ideas, dreams, and hopes, or focus on false abundance, such as material possessions. But this signals an overactive imagination of just illusory visions and fantasies that may never become a reality. Now, this can have brought you confusion or anxiety, and this is tempting your ability to choose wisely in the world of matter. There are there not, many attractive distractions that can misguide you from your true path. But look, really I think that the lesson of this energy, if I can put it that way, is for you to remember what your true purpose is in life. It focuses on tension between your higher self and the ego, struggling with the polarities of spirit and matter. This signals escapism and emotional overload, choices and life becoming overwhelming. Well, they were, because you've then got peace from it, but you've understood the process that you've gone through. The heart was probably unhappy, seeking reconnection with the spirit, yet yearning to rejoin with the oneness that has been forgotten or ignored. Know thyself and love thyself from deep within. I think there may have been some disappointment that you have been working out. Did you experience something that was perhaps just a little bit too good? Did you overtax yourself, or did you overdo things in any way? I think what it's important to do also is to say, only by recognizing your own inner reality will you be freed, because every attempt to avoid it increases the stagnation of emotional energy. But I think you've gone through that process here, and in fact you have a wonderful outcome, which I'll get to in just a second, and I'll talk about this guy. But what this is saying here is also that you should recognize and accept your shadows, because when you do so, they lose their power over you. Well, let's have a look at this Nine of Gourds, which is interesting. This is otherwise known as the wish card, so I see a wish fulfillment here, good fortune. But there is an old Ethiopian proverb, I recall, that says if you pick up one end of the stick, you also pick up the other. And I guess that is an acknowledgement of your own power of manifestation, for better or for worse. Now, it is here that you are challenged with obtaining the pleasure and desires you've been looking for. All of the gourds here are up for the taking, leading to indulgence and great satisfaction. Now, the Nine of Gourds can be quite the trickster, I think, sometimes. Here we see 8 gourds overflowing and connecting to the ninth, guarded by a strange entity that, well, we could call it a wishmaster, I suppose. And I think that the overflowing waters of the outer gourds work their way inward, kind of like the legs of a spider. Now, in African and Caribbean folklore, the trickster, Anansi, is symbolized by the spider, but it can also appear in other forms. Anansi uses intelligence and cleverness to outwit opponents, at times to people's detriment. But that just goes to show that be careful of what you wish for. This is Jupiter ruling the first decan of Pisces. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, so there's very strong complementary energy here, and Jupiter's philosophical approach aligns well with Pisces' spirituality. Jupiter also brings you good luck and happiness, and Jupiter's softer concerns, such as care, compassion, and the spiritual life, well, they're beautifully expressed through sensitive Pisces. There's an enormous capacity to love here, although, as is so often the case with this gift, this is often won through lots of difficult times in the past, isn't it? But the influence of Jupiter here in Pisces creates more than a feeling of mere sympathy. The great sense of blessedness arises from total joy. The quality of this joy shows that it is deeply rooted. You see, you get through all of this, and the downers that you were feeling there, you've made decisions in relation to them, and the result of it is joy. This is also speaking of the joy here. This isn't just some superficial pleasure, though. It speaks of a bliss which derives its energy from the deepest reaches of a soul at peace. Now, this is going to be a time for you where you will be filled with harmony and inner joy. Open yourself up to it totally. Don't miss out. Now, where do you seek and where do you find your true happiness? Now is the time to take advantage of this energy here and to see your dreams fulfilled. And that takes us finally to this guy, Young Blade. Okay, Young Blade. Gee, a lot of Virgo around here and a lot of Leo. They're going to be important to you, those energies, Virgo and Leo, very much so. Look, I think, speaking of the shaman that's underneath him, I think he is the shaman of the court cards. He embodies the elements of air, which is mind, and earth, which is the body, balancing and integrating the airy light of clear perception with the feminine energy of Mother Earth, resulting in divine reason that expands into spiritual inspiration and material manifestation. Now, I think he's at peace with himself and his environment. I think you'll be sensitive, stable, and reliable. And you will be working patiently and diligently with concentrated focus until your goals are, and they will be, achieved. And he's not going to let distractions, nor will you, lead you off course. I think you might find that you are quite dedicated and ecologically minded at this time as well. Look, he's inspired to build new worlds that support the environment and that support things. He's saying that you are taking full responsibility for your life, actions, and choices. You will understand the need to make and keep commitments. And he's going to bring you strength, faith, and peace to any challenge. His pure and open heart is kind and strong, and he, like you, will be in tune with the feelings of others and the situation at hand. He's really mastered his five senses. The life force flows through his body in harmony and balance, and he works through the challenges of life by listening to his intuition. And he feels, hears, and sees how nature works by taking time to listen to what the environment communicates. Now, I think that he and the Archangel Uriel follow the same path. They share the same element, being earth. Uriel is the guardian of nature spirits, and he brings the gift of deep understanding of the natural laws of nature to humanity, as well as the light of God. And Uriel is the angel of peace and forgiveness. Now, when he has turned up, as he has done now, he's bringing you the gifts of success through hard work. He's telling me that your finances are getting better, or there's the coming in of some sort of a financial boost that you weren't necessarily expecting. He indicates the coming or going of material concerns and working with investments. Travel over land might be something which is important to you. I think he stresses the value of being grounded and paying attention to your physical well-being in particular at this time. and he brings physical strength to you and endurance. And it's a time for you to get in touch with all of your five senses, including the sixth sense of perception. Could be that if you're not in a committed relationship, that there is a love relationship that's about to enter into your life that is gentle and sensual. He brings the alchemy of bridging the divinely inspired ideas of air into creation and manifestation of earth. I think now is the time to set your abilities to work in service of some kind. I think the tasks before you are large and demand the use of all of your powers, but if you make the effort, the harvest is going to reward you richly. Now, ask yourself this: are there any tasks you would like to avoid in your life? Whenever things seem to be too much trouble for you, concentrate on the positive results of your actions for you and for others. Your internal learning and growing process is the most important outcome, more important than that which you achieve by your actions. And remember this, and say it to yourself: with every task that comes my way comes also the energy needed to accomplish it. Well, what a fantastic spread of cards for you. Well done, you. Well, if you're like me, I think you will find the imagery on these cards striking and captivating. Now, I know that this is going to be a good month for you, so well done and all the best to you for 2023. Now, remember this until I see you next time, and it is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.